It's really hairy today on Disney's Animal World. We'll be seeing how a thick fur coat can be a big help in the winter. And hearing some fierce growls from these enormous beasts. But it's not the king of the beasts. And it's not the king of the swingers. Any guesses? Of course! Today we're looking at bears. We'll be going on a family fishing trip. How many fish do you think we'll catch? It'll be quiz time later, so watch closely and listen carefully. But first, where do bears live? Well, you can see bears in lots of different places. In Europe, South America, Asia, and the Arctic. And you can find different types of bears in different places. We'll mostly be looking at brown bears, or grizzly bears, as they're sometimes called. They live in North America, Canada, and Alaska. You can find them in the mountains, as long as there's plenty of vegetation to eat. Now, young bears are known as cubs, and they spend all of their time hanging around with their mom. She teaches them all the things they need to know about living in the wild. Cubs learn how to swim and how to find fish in the river. Mom will show them the easy way. In fact, they love the water so much, the cubs even spend their spare time playing and swimming in it. There's not much for the cubs to worry about because they'll spend the first 2 or 3 years of their life being fed and watched over by Mom. She does all the hard work. But the young cubs can't wait to go off exploring on their own. Mom will keep her distance, but she won't be too far away. She's there to protect her cubs from any danger. Bear moms are brave and will even fight other bears to protect their children. Take that! No one messes with Mommy Bear. Ow! Get off my ear! The young cubs will fight each other too, but just for fun. So what happens when the cubs become adults? Well, things will change. Male bears are known as boars, and the females are called sows. Do you know any other animals where the males are called boars and the females are called sows? That's right, it's the same as pigs. Sows spend all of their life in a family group. Once they're old enough to stop hanging around with their mom, they're also old enough to have their own cubs. But it's a different story for the males. They leave the family life once they're older. Boars like to take care of themselves, or hang around with a few friends. You see, male bears don't have many responsibilities, so they usually move around on their own. Did you know that all bears travel around between the seasons? They spend spring, summer, autumn, and winter in different areas. That's because some places have more food at different times of the year. Bears need to eat a lot, and they'll do anything for a meal. Ouch! Once all the fish has swum away from this part of the river, the bears will have to move on to find new food. Honestly, some bears have no shame. Okay, let's look for some answers. It's quiz time. Ready? Where do bears find fish? Is it In the sea? In the river? Or in a fish tank? Now think carefully. That's right. Bears find fish in the river. Let's do another one. What are young bears called? Is it boars, cubs, or calves? Come on, you remember this one. Of course, young bears are called cubs. It'll be quiz time again soon, but first, let's see what bears eat when they're hungry. Whee! Looking for fish in the river means a lot of splashing around. Sometimes bears have to go in the river to try and catch a fish. And sometimes to make a quick getaway. Now I know what you're thinking. There must be an easier way to catch fish. And of course there is. It's much easier to wait by the river's rapids. And these clever bears know exactly where to wait. Right here is where the fish jump out of the water to try and get further upstream. Have you ever eaten flying food? Look at these bears. All they have to do is sit there and catch the fish as they jump. Of course, fishing like this does mean a lot of waiting. And waiting. And waiting. In fact, there must be an even easier way to fish. Looks like our mom bear's caught a fish for her and the cubs. You see, bears love eating fish. But the truth is that bears will eat almost anything. I bet you know someone just like that. Bears will eat meat if they can get it. But please, don't feed the bears. Bears are omnivores, which means they eat both meat and plants. So these amazing animals can survive better in the wild than a lot of other creatures. Once they've eaten all the leaves, it's time to find something else to eat. It's important for bears to eat plenty, especially when winter is approaching. Why is that? Well, they have to eat as much food as possible to put on as much weight as possible before their long winter sleep. In fact, it's often a who can get the fattest competition in the autumn. Can you spot the winner? Bears like to sleep right through the long, cold winter. Lots of animals do this, and it's called hibernation. Imagine going to sleep for the whole winter. During hibernation, bears will stretch and turn. But the rest of the time, it's just sleeping. Bears don't eat or drink when they're hibernating. So by the springtime, they're really thirsty. And really, really hungry. Let's leave Pooh to enjoy his honey, because it's quiz time again. Get ready. What do omnivores eat? Is it meat, fresh fruit, or any food? Think about it. That's right. Omnivores eat any food. Okay, here's another one. What does hibernation mean? Is it eating as much food as possible, sleeping through the winter, or traveling from place to place? Do you know this one? Well done. Hibernation means sleeping through the winter. Now let's have a closer look at those bears and see what special bodies they have. To survive the long, cold winter, bears need to be very hairy. And they are. Every kind of bear has a long, thick, furry coat to keep them warm. Just look at these sloth bear cubs. They're just like a round ball of fur, aren't they? Can you imagine having to brush all of that in the morning? Polar bears have the thickest fur because where they live is the coldest. These bears live in the Arctic, where there's ice and snow everywhere. Look, their fur is the same color as ice and snow. They even swim in the freezing Arctic Ocean. Brr! Can you imagine how cold that must be? Running along on the ice is a good way to keep warm. Their big, strong claws help them to grab on. All bears have long, hard, sharp claws. And they can use those claws for lots of different things. In fact, there's nothing bears love more than a good scratch. Just like these guys. Wow, look how fast this one can climb. Sharp claws are great for climbing trees. Bears can find more food up there. Ouch! This one's really high up in that tree. Do you think he's safe up there? Bears have to be careful when they're climbing trees. Whoops! It's no wonder that bears feel safer in the water. At least the water's soft to land on, and it's a lot of fun to play in. So if bears spend so much time in the water, do you think they keep nice and clean? Well, this one's even remembered to wash behind its ears. Bears are very adaptable animals. They can find new things to eat when one type of food runs out, survive all types of weather, and they don't seem to mind getting wet. If they have to. Ouch! I hope you enjoyed finding out about these tough, clever creatures. Bears teach each other how to swim, how to fish, and how to climb. And they love a good long nap. And a good hard scratch. And that's another amazing creature from Disney's Animal World.